Screw it. I think we're live.
Dun, 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 dun,
I think it.
Dun, dun.
Ba, 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 ba.
What we're going to do is we're going to get my girlfriend to check in the other room if we are actually live and speaking and all of our audios work, because that's
cool.
Last time we had a fuck up.
Last week was fucked.
I'll do the quick intro. Welcome to Talking Trash Talking with Dom and Jarran. And this week, Holden Hargraves. Hagerman. Yeah, I don't know why I was saying Hargraves. I had it from that like cartoon. Yeah. Anyway, Holden Hagerman, who is well, let you introduce yourself. All right,
yeah,
Holden,
please. Because I have no idea. So please, let me.
I can make that happen. Cool, fellas. It's I can see the sun rising out my window right here.
Yeah, thank you very much for getting up early and joining us on our chat.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I had to get up when I had the opportunity. I was like pretty giddy when you asked. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
I mean, you're our second ever guest.
Yeah.
Is it?
This is the third episode, right?
Fourth.
Okay.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So we're really on the ground floor right now with this whole skidoo.
Yeah.
Well, that means that I have a chance to support something at the beginning, which is always like...
Yeah, grassroots. Episode 5, Dom gets a better webcam.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, that's pressure. Now I only have like 7 days to get a webcam. Gosh. Wasn't ready for that. It's too soon. So Holden, what we usually do to start the show is we talk about what we've done for the last 24 hours. So I'll let Jarran kick it off. And just a quick history for you. Jarran and I used to live together, and all the listeners out there, obviously. We used to work as garbage men together, and now he makes the music for the YouTube videos that you see on this channel.
Oh, very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
There you go. A little bit of insight, a little bit of background.
Yeah.
I love it.
All of the things.
So, Jarran, take it away with what have you done in the last 24 hours?
What did I do in the last 24 hours? I've been getting hard into yoga. So I've been doing hot yoga like once or twice a day, and it is fucking killing me.
That's
Like,
yoga in a heated environment, not yoga in his underwear, by the way. Like not taking sexy pictures, like hot yoga. Like
No, he wants to sweat profusely 2 times per day at times.
dude, I have not been in that panic mode since I started jujitsu. It's like, it's not nice. It is not a nice feeling, and I almost give up, but then I don't, and then I'm okay after. Also, yesterday I got a new bike, and I went for a 50K bike ride. What's that in? What's that in America? That's 25 miles around that.
Yeah, something like that.
miles.
I just halved
Still
it.
pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. I'm gonna get on a bike and just buy like all day.
You have to you gotta get to know your new bike, otherwise.
Yeah,
what
it's
you
like
gonna
breaking
do?
in hiking boots, all the same.
Exactly right. Jarran, what happened to your Turkish kettlebelling? Is that still?
That's tomorrow morning.
Okay, so you're not replacing yoga with the Turkish kettlebell.
Oh hell no. No, I'm doing yoga now, so I stopped becoming made out of stone and can do the kettlebells even harder.
There you go.
Like it's showing all those little inconsistencies and like where you're truly weak. Like my ankles are just like fucked. They have no flexion whatsoever, and that just shows up in the middle of yoga. I'm like, fuck.
Yep. Absolutely. I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I think flexibility is one of the most underrated things, especially in our field of things. Like most people forget that if you want to do all of these jumps and things, you need to have flexibility and strength in that range of flexibility. Because if you pull your muscle or body at that like time where you're, and you haven't got the flexibility, that's when it's going to tear and get injured. Whereas if you've got the range of motion and the strength there, your body can handle that and disperse it in the proper way.
Yeah, dude.
I always look at Dominic Hughes and Juji Mufu are like your 2 best examples ever of that. They are so strong because they're so flexible.
Yeah. Well, Juji Mufu, he kind of broke the scene. I think it was like a People Are Awesome or something like that. That time that he did the overhead squat, but then the splits in the chair. That's like everyone went, what the fuck? And that's when all of his stuff just kind of started popping off.
I think I always just remember seeing him just tricking insanely, and he's just like the literal Hulk with long hair. Yeah, and he can trick with like such good form that I saw it and I was like, who, how, what's going on?
Another one of those people for me is Austin Ray. I don't know if you know who Austin Ray is.
I don't know.
He's currently on the Ultimate Tag Show. I think he's the big game, the big show, the big game.
Oh yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, but he's an incredible like acrobatic, flexible movement person, as well as being like this unit, like just 6'2" of pure muscle. And like those people always stand out. The deal, that's it, the big deal.
The big deal.
I think you get a lot of those kind of guys in circus as well. They like have all that strongman stuff, and then they have tumbling, and they're just fucking beasts, but flexible beasts.
Yeah, well, if I'm not wrong, Austin wanted to be in Cirque du Soleil, but then had some issues with them taking him on because he had a previous injury or something like that. Which is like crazy to me that circuses would reject people on the basis that they had a previous injury. Like I get that they need to have people that can work, season round or whatever, but obviously people with previous injury can also perform that I know of. If I look at him, I'm like, in 1,000 years, I wouldn't predict that he had a previous injury that would pull him down in any way.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, the question is the competition there so high that it's almost like elite level ballet, where they're like, all right, we're not even going to take the risk on you because we have 5 guys over here that can do exactly what you want, but 7 times a week, 8 times a week.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know. I don't know what the competition is like.
I mean, that seems pretty right. Because I mean, it's got to be. I know that a lot of people want to be in Cirque, and the competition is really, really hot, and the position.
I feel like I've always heard that before, where like it's like that movie stereotype where the kid's like, "Fuck you, dad, I'm gonna go join the circus," and then he like tries to join the circus, and it's hard as fuck, and he just like doesn't make it at all.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like this unbelievably incredible thing that they produce, but then there's only probably like 30 people per year, season, show, whatever. Yeah. You know, that's on stage and doing that stuff. So,
of course.
Crazy.
Dom?
What about your 24 hours? Oh, is it me? All right. Well, I was going to say I passed to Holden second. I'll do third.
All right.
Holden, what's the last 24 hours?
All right. So 24 hours ago exactly, I was still asleep. But I had a nice slow wake up yesterday, and then I went out to training, and we went to like our sister city. I live in Minneapolis, and there's the Mississippi River, and then there's St. Paul, like 5 miles away. There's like another full-size city. It's kind of weird. And
it's like across the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. We call it the Twin Cities. Like, that's our whole thing. And there's this really cool spot right down by the river in downtown St. Paul. That's like a park that's really good for training. So I trained there for like a couple hours. And then I went and I did 5 stories of this descent that I did last year. And I was like trying to break this 6th floor, and it's horrible. You have to like grab this ledge. It's a rail descent, but you have to grab this ledge, and the 6th floor, it's completely crumbling. And so like we were sitting there like brushing out all the like loose shit, and just like I just like couldn't get my brain to do it. And I think it's because I like ripped my pinky like pretty bad, and like every time I took the drop, I was like, ow. And it wasn't like it just like stung a tiny bit, but it was totally fucking thrown off my mental. And I couldn't get all 7 stories, and my homie who had never been there before got all 7 stories, and I was just like, oh, like I feel good because I got it back and it was really clean, but at the same time I didn't do what I wanted to do. Oh, it's just like such a mixed bag of feelings, but
100%.
Still pretty happy with how it went. And then got some other really good like lines yesterday that I'm just really happy with. And then
will we see any of it on your Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, I will probably post it at some point today. I could post it now. How about that?
I mean, if it won't distract you too much, then feel free to, of course, post away. I guess I'll get into my 24 hours while you do that. So what is today? Today's Monday. So last night, baby, what did we do last night? We binge watched Beverly Hills Housewives. Yeah,
there you go. That's
our couple show right now, and it's amazingly entangling. It's just literally like the train wreck metaphor. You know, it's so crazy and bad, but you just can't look away. You're like, I kind of want to know what happens to these people.
Yeah,
they're making such bad.
I feel like that's
choices.
Jersey Shore as well.
Yeah, I think this is a slow descend for me into just consume. Like I've always been like, no, I'll never watch reality TV, and now I'm watching it. I'm like, God, this is why people watched it. This is awful, but I love it.
There you go. Trash
and then
TV in perfection right there.
Then this morning I woke up and I had a meeting call. Can't talk too much about it because obviously it's business stuff, which was good. Just an upcoming shoot/job that I got. And then I instantly had the desire to go to the wharf and do the Gainer Prix that I fell in on the other day. So I went down. I just posted in like the Sydney Parkour chat that was going down. Got down there, and like as I arrived for midday or like 12:15 with Saturday, there was already like 8 other young dudes down there.
Yeah, because it's school holidays.
And everyone was keen, right? Everyone was like, because they'd seen the Gainer, and they knew I was going back for it. So everyone was kind of like on this session of like, all right, let's go, let's have like a mad session. So I did the Gainer, 1 try, landed it, happy. My foot kind of like out to the side on the land. I don't care. I did the Gainer, stayed on it.
I mean, you stayed on it.
yeah. And it was like cozy as well. So I was like, I don't really mind. Giles gave me a bit of shit. Maybe I'll go back and stick it just for Giles.
Yeah.
You know, just, and then just send him the clip, you know, just for Giles, you know.
You can have that, Giles. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
No one else can have this.
Right, that'd be amazing. Actually, I might just do that because it's like it's really crazily easy to send.
Sure.
Because you have the most spot time of any flip that I've done to the wharf. So, like physically, if you can chuck the gainer and it sits in the right position, then all you have to do is look for it and put your feet on it.
Dude, I found the perfect one of those for you yesterday. Me and the homies I was training with, we were like, and you can do it from either side too. So if you're like left or right, like it doesn't really matter. Like
that's great.
One of each, and it's just like perfect. It's like, it's the perfect size. Oh my god.
Sick. It's my new toy. So I think I'll still definitely be playing with it a lot when I come.
I saw Titarenko throw him, and I was just like, from that moment on, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I did one at like Tramp's Kitchen in London years ago, and then I kind of
that's such a classic clip for me.
I just forgot about them, and then I was like, oh yeah, I started doing. Kadori just spotted one. I was like, couldn't you gain a pre this? And then that just progressed into now. Oh, I'm gonna play with these all the time. Like
yeah, why not?
I've done so many Webster pre's, and I'm like, well, I want to do some other pre's. Like I want to do backflip pre's as well. Yeah. Well, then one of the young guys, Sam, he decided that the most comfortable flip for him was siding over the black rail, which is another aspect of the spot, onto the wharf. And like he's very competent, he's very safe. But this is like he usually trains inside, and this was like a big mental push for him. So he's struggling to get over the mark. And then when he did it, he clipped his leg on the black rail, stunting his distance. And so he's suddenly rotating, and like if he just committed to rotating still, he would have just gone head into the wood. But luckily he kind of opened up, and as he saw the wood coming down, he like high-fived it out of his like range like that, but he wasn't in range of hitting it or anything. So he like, you know, pulled back his commitment last second, but saved it so that he just splashed in the water. Bro, my heart stopped though. The moment his leg clipped that rail and I saw him like spinning, I was like, oh my gosh, like, but like, yeah, it's really nice when, cause like the other day we had somebody do like, you know, he went to do a simple like grab catch. It's not that simple, but he went to do a grab catch hang. It's pretty safe. And there's a bolt underneath the wharf, and he pried out his front tooth on it.
Oh.
Did he find his tooth?
I've been a bit, no, it was gone. But after that, I've been like really hesitant. And that was like 3 days ago. So I was a bit like, oh, shook. And then I did the backflip pre, fell in. Ivan did the backflip pre. This young kid, he's like 14 or something like that, 15. And he's just like, he's always had, you know, it's really rare you see people whose mentality is ahead of their physicality. So they're like, I can definitely do this, but they're a bit sketchy. So he's really, now he's grown into he's had his like time of being sketchy.
Those are the sketchiest students, by far the sketchiest students of all.
I think that would be harder for you dealing with that type of person. Because for me, I'm at a jam. So I'm like, I'm not teaching you or telling you what to do.
There's no responsibility on your end.
For me, you're like, I feel like they're extremely rare, and I'm like, oh my god, I see so many of them. Like, just like super strong, and they like really don't understand that they don't have the technique to do something, and that's pretty much all it is. And they're just like, yup, all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great because he's trained with people who were like the opposite, who were more scared but more strong. So they kind of morph together. And I saw like one of the biggest things that stood out to me was Brody Pawson and Dylan Pawson came up to Sydney, down to Sydney from Brisbane. And most of Sydney at the time were kind of like, they were all scared to take responsibility for Ivan in case something happened because he'd had like an accident or two. So they were kind of like, I don't want to be the one if something happens. And Brady and Dylan really took him under their wing. And instead of like discouraging his sendiness, they were like, hey, you can do it, but you've got to do all these steps. You've got to do all these things, and encouraged him how to do it the right way. And he's like really taken to that, which is cool to see, you know. So he did the backflip pre, and then went to the other wharf, and I tried another big running jump that Michael's done, but I overshot it and then splashed again. So 2 splashes today. And then I caught up with an ice skating friend Saturday, and I went up to the pub and had a feed with him. Brendan Carey's a Olympic figure skater, a good friend of mine. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours.
There you go.
And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my 24 hours. And then now we're here having this conversation, and that's my
Boom.
All the good
but
things.
the wharf sessions have been pretty crazy and like the highlight of my last 4 days, because both days were really intense, and was able to kind of push myself, but also see others push themselves and do crazy shit. Like Kadori did these arm jumps that just like don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I can't. No. his skill set is so cool because he has like all of the fundamental upper body shit down that I really struggle with. So it's just like I can see challenges for him now and be like, oh my god, you can do this, and then he just nails it, and that's like really exciting.
All right, you have to shout out Sydney weather for the fact that we are in the middle of winter and you're still falling into the water.
Oh yeah, I was shirtless today.
Yeah.
There was points where I was training and I was just like my pants and no shirt, and I was like, I'm really warm.
There's days 6 months from now where if I went outside shirtless for around 5 minutes, I would die. Like, it's really bad. It hurts me to hear that.
They make you tough up there. That's the thing.
That's absolutely true. The Nordic blood.
Yeah. I'm a wimp, man. I get cold, my fingers start to like freeze up, and it's like, it's only 6 degrees. I should really get this scene too.
Well, that's the point. You chase summer. This is the first winter that you have had for how many years? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I did experience a week here and a week there when I went certain places, but I didn't have to sit through a full winter anywhere for the last 4.5, 5 years. I would just bounce. Yeah, I was fortunate, man. Very fortunate. You know?
That's awesome.
I made it my mission. Because I mean, the thing is with that, it wasn't like I was getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars all the time, and it wasn't like staying in the fanciest hotels. I would just chase summer and training. So essentially, if a job would fly me to somewhere, I would then say, and this is more for people viewing as well as you guys, but I would fly somewhere and then be like, okay, if my job's in Thailand, I need to be in Spain after. So the job would fly me in and out. So then I'd arrive in Spain and then just stay with Defo until the next job or shoot or something came up where they're like, we need you for this. I'd be like, cool, fly me from Spain and then fly me back to Germany. And then I go do stuff with Farang, and then maybe Farang would fly me back to Bangkok for this thing, and then I'd fly myself back. So it's like, if you're doing that and traveling and coming up, you really want to maximize the amount of people that want to travel, or you travel for a reason and then stay and just kind of wait it out until the next thing happens. Try and plan it like that. It's really cheap. Stay with friends. Don't stay at hotels.
Yeah, well, it helps that people want you to stay at their place.
I feel like that only happened like after I met them and made those friendships. So like now it's more so like someone would be like, oh my God.
But you could ruin that if you were a very shit person or a shit guest.
Yeah. I remember people being excluded from being invited places because they were shit people sometimes. I'm not going to name any names, but God, that was, you know what I mean? They'd be like, not that guy, he's a worm, he's not coming with us, yeah? Don't let him come, yeah? Don't tell him we're going on a bus. I'm like, oh God, okay.
Yikes. I feel like there's not that many of those in parkour, fortunately.
No, I think there's 2 reasons for that. Is that one, it doesn't breed. If you're in it for that, if you're that type of person, you're in it for the gains, you're not going to gain much out of parkour, man. Like, you're not going to suck dry people who are wealthy. You're not going to get all this internet clout or whatever the message you may be coming in for. And 2, the scene itself is going to reject anybody like that. So if you love the movement enough, you're not going to be like that by the time you want to keep moving with everybody. You know what I mean? You kind of learn. Yeah. Like, I've seen people who were much more egotistical or much more like, I guess, not virtue seeking, but, you know, like fame seeking, who have really turned it around as to becoming a lot more community based, because that's what the way to do it in the community is to be about the people, not to be about yourself, you know?
Right.
Which I guess leads to the main topic of Fight or Flight Academy competition.
That's why we're here.
Project Parkour.
Project Parkour.
All right. I need the rundown because...
All right.
I need a moment, so you guys continue.
Oh, yes. All right, so please, if you could tell me what the hell's been going on, because people have been sending me like Instagram stuff being like, vote for this person, look at this, isn't this sick? And yeah, I only saw that like a few days ago.
Okay, so first and foremost, the place that I'm at, Fight or Flight Academy, I'm like upstairs in the office where I like do all my work. I do like all the marketing, and so we're just a parkour gym. We've been open since 2011. We're just like local to the scene, Minneapolis. We're in the suburbs. Got a warehouse. It's cool. And COVID came, and we decided to make an online platform. And that it's going to be on blast this week. Like, we have a Kickstarter in 2 days for our online coaching platform, and we really needed to start building some traction and credibility, like widely, you know.
Mean clout? You're
yeah, I mean,
that
pretty
clout.
much. And it's not to say that it was all just for the clout. Like, we wanted to do something that had the right messaging and had the right value to it, that we weren't just like throwing money out there just for stupidity and for the clout. Like, no, like, let's do it for the right reasons. Let's do something really legit. Let's put something on that hasn't really been done to this extent before.
It really hasn't.
And so, yeah, and we said, let's make an online competition because it's the format that's working now, and let's make the biggest prize ever in parkour. And we thought for a while about like splitting it up and like doing a first, second, third, whatever it would be. We were like, can we have our masterclass coaches who are pros do lines for this? And we're like, yeah, we'll just give them the 10K and then make the second place person the masterclass coach. Like, why not? You know, we can. But we wanted to put out the biggest prize for a single winner in a parkour event ever, just to like,
I mean, that was the number one thing, you know, that stood out to me, was that like 10,000 for any young athlete out there, that can change their life. That can really, really take, like, you know, 3,000-4,000 is like, cool, I have a chance to go on a holiday. I have a chance to do this. 10,000, you can really set up where you want to go with your career, or like where you want to take that. You can invest that money in a really, and that's the one thing that really stood out. I was like, wow, 10,000, like that's a big thing. And one thing I wanted to ask was like, if it's not too personal, was the money come from in-house of parkour, or was it an outside investor? Insights right here.
Yeah.
So it's all built in-house. Wow. Yeah. That's fantastic, guys. That's really good job.
We had a rough go of it at the beginning. We had a person that was working here that like embezzled quite a bit of money from the gym, unknown for quite a long time.
Wow.
And the second that was found out, the game really changed here. You know, it was really the moment where we're like, oh my God, everything we've been doing was right. And we were actually making money the whole time. We thought we weren't. So we went super ham at getting really good at making money. And we kept failing to do so. And we were like, what the fuck?
That's amazing.
And then we figured it out. And we were like, let's go. And that was like, oh gosh, 3-4 years ago. And like,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a really huge change at the gym because of that. You know, like we've really created systems that
turned
work well.
around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like, I mean, without being as non cliche as possible, sounds like a very American situation. Like, I mean, I didn't know many companies that have, you know, situations like that with embezzlement and stuff here. But I'm really, really glad that has changed for you guys, and that has turned into like a silver lining for Fight or Flight.
Yeah, and now with the online platform, it's really been like, we're getting our toes like well into the water in the public eye now. You know, like we're in this now, and it's just been crazy because for 3 months it's been just work, and it's still like that. But all of a sudden, I actually have something to show for it as of like 2 weeks ago. You know, and it's only ramping up from here. So Jarran, the platform for the competition, you know, it's online submissions, make a run, and then we did like a 6-round bracket with 64 people that it's 2 rounds of community votes in the beginning, and then all the rest of the rounds have a 50-50 with community votes and judges. And we turned the judging criteria kind of upside down on its face for like most free running competitions, parkour competitions. We said execution number 1, flow number 2, creativity difficulty, and they're all important. Like they're the only 4 things that we're judging on. Of course they're important, but we said like cleanliness, that's what we want to see, and not the marketing clips, you know, like we don't need you to break your leg for this, we need you to be able to train again tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that I guess that's one of the things that really like is cool about it, but also makes me wonder so much how the community personally let Christian Kolowensky not get through the first. If I see correctly, he's not through the first round.
Oh, he is.
Oh, he is. Okay, cool. Because I looked at his votes early, and
he knocked out Jared Ludi. I think, I'm not positive yet because I haven't gone through and actually like tallied everything.
Because I saw early on that he wasn't like there was he's had less votes than the other guy, and I was like, if we're
for
talking
round
about
1
execution, for round 1, so
we saw that. I think that was actually just an example of when people were waking up. I think that Iran was just awake first, and so it was like way over here, and then like Europe woke up and was like, let's go Christian, and he took it back.
Well, I think I mean, I'm taking the personalities out of that, and I'm thinking if I just looked at 2 bodies doing that run, his to me is like is the pick of the bunch personally. I'm a huge
fan of his line.
Execution.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like but obviously like Jared, Jared's line is like insane and perfect.
I love
as well.
Archie's line, man. I really
Archie's line. I mean,
it's just so impeccable.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, if you think about who would fit ideally into this bracket of make a clean line with execution highest and then down the line with things, he's the guy. Like he fits that bracket perfectly.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Ed is just always like, how do you even Ed? I don't know.
Have you read his bio on Instagram?
No,
oh my God. It's amazing. I like saw it, I think 2 days ago. Right? Yeah.
Ever seen a fridge do a souk full? What a guy.
What?
Because he's known as the fridge, right?
Why? Because he's so blocky or what?
Yeah. I mean,
and he is just kind of a hunk of meat, like just like
all the way down. He's just like a square, and he's real pale as well. I think that might have had something to do with it, because I feel it came like from Josh and that sort of thing. For Stora, they like calling it the fridge, you know. But so I mean, that obviously is really cool to hear that Christian's gone through, because obviously it's hard for me personally to keep up with all the information coming in.
We definitely have had to keep track of, like, you know, the first 2 rounds we had to keep a really close eye on if we were getting like fraudulent votes.
Something about bots was said.
Yeah, so we did have one that we thought was like questionable, where, you know, it was pretty obvious that there was like some voting thing going on that was just a little bit weird. Strange. There was like, it was like an extremely high ratio of votes to views, where like most were getting like 60 to 70% of the people that saw the story would actually vote, and this one had like over 90%. And it was clear that somebody had poured votes into both sides. And our initial thing was that anyone that tampered with votes would be disqualified. But then we realized that you could like bot your opponent and make it look like they botted and then get them DQ'd.
Oh,
and we couldn't tell who it was. You know, we didn't know who was doing it. There were no accusations thrown out at all because we had no clue. There was no way to tell. So we turned to the other 62 competitors in the bracket, and we asked them who they thought won.
Okay.
And it was virtually unanimous to Bart.
Okay.
Like, it just was what it was. Like, the other dude that was up against him had a really fire line, But I'll agree with all the other competitors. Like I liked what they voted as well.
Yeah.
But we thought it was a really
that's a
fair
good way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's hearing that is a really, because I was like, oh shit, bots, how are they going to go about this? You know?
Right. And other than that, like, I think the fact that we stayed ahead of the messaging on it, and the next day we were like, hey, this happened, A, not okay, and B, this is how we're going to deal with that if it happens. And it, like, kind of, I think, deterred other people from attempting to
even
do the
thinking
same thing.
about it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was always going to be a
exactly.
very slim bunch of, like, if,
Right.
you know, slim to none people in parkour. Like you said, there's not that many people in parkour.
I mean,
like, I'm going to bot the
tough
system.
to, like, I watched the messages go down with the dude as he was like, oh no, like, but I won. And it was like, it was hard because it's like he thought that we were accusing him, but obviously we weren't, you know, like, and it was tough just to watch it. And then, like, it could have been one of his friends, it could have been someone that he didn't even know. I doubt it was even the dude that did it.
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah,
and
yeah.
So it's just like,
it's a tough. Yeah.
Because
But
fans
I think
want
putting
their...
it.
Go on.
No, you go.
Fans want their little idol to win. They want their favorite one to win, so they'll be like,
yep,
we're gonna bot the system. Gonna bot it.
Yeah, would you have been annoyed if I had just like, you know, that big drop I did, like the hurdle over? If I just posted that as my submission, would you be really annoyed?
No,
because I thought about it. But I was like, it's not a combo. It's just me hucking myself.
There was one dude that he was at like a little tiny hole in the wall parkour park in Copenhagen, I think, and it was like the two rails. And he like stands on the bottom rail and like yucks the gainer, and then he does a turn up onto the other side and does it off the other leg.
Yeah.
And then he gets on this kid's back and like whoosh away. And I was just like, yes, you know, like,
yeah, because you're the fun aspect. I saw that line. I did see that line. Yeah.
Our photographer guy that we work with here, he also drives for Amazon, and his submission, it was like all these disco colors, and he like does a dive roll over this wall in the lawn and like drops the package off, and you can like see him like dial it in, and he like dives roll and sprints back to the van again, and he submitted it. Like,
yeah, that's cool. I mean, I didn't want to take the piss too much, but I'm really glad that people did like also submit what they thought was fun and appealing, as opposed to just like the hammers thing. Because that's like what I think is really important, is that anyone with a creative idea, and I think this has been happening with my social media over the last month, is like, if you have an idea and you think it's funny, put it out there. If you think it's cool, put it out there. Don't worry if it fits a certain fucking mold of, is this what people expect of me, or is this what, like, the right thing to do? Just put it out. You know what I mean? If you like it, if it's funny. Like, I put out me and Michael walking around like a meat.
That was amazing.
He just showed me, he showed me the Putin meme, and he was like, oh yeah, I saw some parkour videos, some guys did like this thing, and I was like, cool. And so we did that, and then like it was the stunts guys, st.u.n.ts. They're from like Czech Republic. I saw their video after. It's so funny. It's Mikesh and this other guy, and they're doing like the same thing, like a parkour park. Squash video, parkour, looks great. A Vladimir Putin meme, hilarious meme.
They're so good.
I just can't get over the song. Like, but it's like, usually I would never put that out, right? Never put something like that out. But then Mike was like, hey, I got this funny idea. And then when I watched the video he sent me, I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. If I think it's funny, I guess I should put that out there. And so I'm glad people have done that for the competition as well.
I'm glad that you put that out there, is what I'm glad of.
There was something I wanted to ask. So with this whole thing, because I'm hoping that this comp is going to go on again and it will gain traction and you'll do it again. Yep. But the question that I had when I looked at it was, do they have to resubmit a line every time they go up in the bracket? Which apparently is no.
The answer is no. Yeah. So that's something that we thought a lot about as well. And ultimately, it was kind of our time frame was the main thing, where like we did this whole thing in like such a small period of time, you know, like we came up with the idea, from the inception of it to launch was like maybe 35 or 40 days. And like, I didn't start working on it until like less than a month away practically, you know, at least in a serious way. Like, I knew what it would be in my head, but like actually writing out my processes and getting my graphics and like whittling out all those little details and everything, that was really quick. And we definitely have gotten like a ton of feedback that we really, really like. And kind of our options are limitless. You know, we want to do
You
this
guys are the
again and
first
again.
to do this.
Yeah, and this is Project Parkour is like Fight or Flight Academy's event title is kind of the easiest way to think about it. You know, it's the title that we'll be using for all of our events. And we might rebrand Project Parkour to Project Parkour Onlines and Project Parkour Street Comps, whatever it might be. Like, we want to do all of it. Yeah, absolutely. It's just like all of the events that you could dream of in parkour, like why not do them? Project Parkour will help like be that title. And we definitely, one of the things we've definitely gotten was like, oh, you guys should have made people resubmit lines like for each head to head, like give them a few days where they know what their matchup is. And we totally want to do that. It's just like so much logistical planning, and we were already like on the send by the time we thought about it, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about, why the competition time frame was chosen to be over the 5 days of release. But then I guess that answers that, is because you guys have the masterclass Kickstarter that you're dropping on Wednesday, and you wanted to create the hype before that, so you basically were like, okay, this is the time frame we've got, let's make this happen. And I think it's cool that you've worked it in and had such amazing success with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I pushed that button and everything went live. And push that button, I mean like made like 8 posts on 3 different platforms and had my phone crash twice, you know. Like chaos. But all the same, like when I launched the submission window, I was just like, oh, we just did it. Like it's like we can't turn back now. And we knew from the beginning that we were going to have these 2 overlapping campaigns that were going to like play into each other. And it's working so far, you know, and we're going to try and really make sure that we can like hold on to it. We knew that we had the cred in the parkour community for those that knew about us. We've had like so many pros come here specifically because they knew, you know, but we didn't have that widespread credibility in the like regular parkour athlete world, and we needed
also
to
just
make
people
sure
who dabble
knew.
as well. Yeah, it's like, it's about people, like there's a lot of people out there who don't do parkour, like yourself and myself. I'd say like Jarran is one of those people, a fringe parkour athlete. They do parkour here and there to keep fit and because they enjoy it. You know, it's not like ear to the ground of the community and what's happening. So it's reaching those people with this, which I think is majority of people, to be honest, that practitioner. I think most people that actually practice parkour don't practice it every single day or 5 days a week. They practice it twice a week, 3 times a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Shit, I was going to ask you about the quiz. Oh yeah. So what is left? So what is the next steps for the competition? Like, what are the final kind of processes, and how do you see it all unfolding?
Yeah, so right now, we just finished the 3rd round, and it's the first round with the judges. And so now this week, Chad's the head instructor here at Fight or Flight. He and I are going to be doing live streams every other day to kind of, we have some commentary from the judges, right? And we'll talk about that. And it's just mostly like messages that they've sent us. And then all of our judges are people that were in the bracket that got voted out. So we had some cool people to choose from. And Chad and I like know the judging criteria really well because it's how Fight or Flight has always judged its competitions. And so we're going to talk about who won, why their line is fire, and we're going to talk about like, oh, and this person was only at 40% of the community vote, but the judges like pulled it back. They got 4 judge votes, you know, and we're going to kind of break that down and do some like post-game and pre-game commentary throughout the week. And then finals are going to go down this weekend.
And so for clarity, is it half community? So the community will vote on it and the judges have final say?
So it's 50-50 actually is kind of the deal, and it's not a winner takes all on the community vote. So if you have 48% and I have 52%, you know, it's actually you have 24% of the overall vote.
Okay,
and then it's the judges, so it's still a part of that 100%.
And there's 4 judges.
That's the way that we like it. There's 5 judges.
5 judges.
Yeah, and so they all have that 10% vote, and I like it that way because, like, let's say that somebody does do some shady community voting thing again, then no matter what, that other person is still going to get some amount of votes. So if they even get 0.01% of the vote and all of the judges agree this person's line is clearly the better one, then they still win out, you know?
Cool.
So we think that it'll lead to like a good, like a fair result. I really don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't. It's hard to say between like everyone that's in it. Like Ed and Bob are gonna face off, I think, today.
Ooh.
Like that's heated, you know.
Not only like if you take out the fact that both of them have really exceptional lines that it's going to be hard to choose between fitting the bracket, which is also how I know that you and Fight or Flight and I would personally advise you to judge all of this. Don't judge it because you like Bob Reese more, or don't judge it because you like Ed more. We're better than that. It's come on, guys, be more mature than that. But this is where it's hard because both of them have very strong, dedicated followers, basically.
Yes.
Like if you're a fan of Ed, and admittedly I am, you're a fucking fan of Ed. You're like, oh boy. And if you're a fan of Bob, and admittedly I've been down that line as well, you are a big fan of Bob when you're like everything he does is like, oh, touching on water. You know what I mean? Like, oh. So it's you know, both those dedicated followings going head to head. I advise both of those followings, judge it on the lines, please. Because they're both so amazing. It's just treat them with the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, quickly now, I think we'll take some questions from the audience.
Let's do it.
Jarran, have you notated anything that people have said? To generate everyone got sound.
Yep. That's first question.
Okay. Do we have sound? I think we do. Most of these are just hellos and yeah.
No. There's one for me. Does Jarran do parkour and free running? Not great.
Tell your history. Go from day you started parkour, and then how intensely you trained, and then what do you do now?
So I got into parkour while training to be a stuntman. Did nothing, and then met Dom and Marks. Definitely shout out Marks for this. And they taught me tech. And then I learned all the tech, and then I got broken a lot, but now I've got the tech, and I can jump at what? Probably about 65% my max. Otherwise I break myself. Which is good, because the stronger that I get, my 65% max with good tech, it works.
And it also becomes 66, 67, 68 as the time goes on, because your skills and your strength gets better. So what your 66 would have been before, 65 would have been before, you feel like 65 still, but you're actually performing at 70.
Yeah. So
that's cool. That's cool. And that answers that question. This person here, Shahira, fuck, I'm bad at this. Shahaya Jumps. Nailed that. Could you tell us, mere mortals, about how to progress and learn faster, and how to overcome fear to do things you know you can do?
I want to hear this from both of you guys.
Okay, well, Holden, go first, because my answer is really degrading too.
So it was, how do you progress faster and overcome fear?
Yes.
I would say that the way that you progress faster is that you progress more. You do things more progressively. You know, like if you have like a little checklist in your head of things that you like need to do to overcome a challenge, then you can start doing that, and that's your like tried and true formula, even if you really have to break it down. And then if you realize like, oh, I don't really need to use this step anymore, you can like take it off the list. You can skip that step if you don't need it. And as long as you're like actually breaking things down into the little pieces that they actually are, you're going to be able to get every little bit, and then you're like, okay, let's just like put it all together, put together the puzzle. That's how I like to train, at least. Like that's but I'm also not super sendy. Like I'll send huge stuff if I really am feeling good about it, but I really need to like know that there's perfection and mastery there for myself.
Well, I do see that, and I've even seen since I started watching your movement to where I see you now, there's a clear progression in functionality. And like, you didn't start fast. You were like, it was clear that you were like, I'm going to take the time with each technique to know it thoroughly before I progress it with speed and power.
That's exactly it.
Because I encourage that so much in young athletes, but how the hell do you tell a teenager to slow down, man? I didn't. I was
my body did. I do it the way I do it because I catastrophically wrecked myself consistently from like 17 to 19,
good years.
Yeah, I was real messed up for a while, like I stuck a bone out of my arm, like casual, dude, like not good. And so I had to chill. Like I had to sit back and make sure that I wasn't going to catastrophically injure myself anymore. And that's pretty much it. Like, as long as you know that you're not going to wreck yourself, you can't be scared anymore. Like, if you know that you're going to take that fall if you have to, and you're safe, and you can take that fall however it happens, even if you don't know, then you're good. Like, that's it.
It's so funny that you say that, because my answer to that was going to be like, there is no way to progress or learn faster than what you're capable of doing.
Right.
Like, you can push yourself all you want, but you've got to accept that the speed that you learn at is the speed that you learn at. And like, what you're seeing me do now is a consistent like progress and push for 13, 14 years. I didn't take time off, and it like, yeah, I wasn't, because I was fortunate with the timing that I started, my body kind of held out as I bashed myself against the wall a few times. But then like, when you come to the top of that, it's like what you see now is like, it looks like I progressed really fast, or I'm at this freaky level. It's like, no, dude, it's an everyday process. Like and that's the only other note I would say is like, if you want to get faster, so I tell any young athlete comes to me, is like, oh yeah, I really get good. I'm like, okay, train every day, train 5 days a week. Yeah, it's the amount of time that you're dedicating to this activity, especially with parkour, is like, knowledge is more power. So
I feel like
smarter.
a lot of people, like especially a lot of young athletes, are really on that whole like, oh, I want to get really, really good really, really fast, and they've never like stepped into adult, I have a job, I need to pay rent life, and sat there and like struggled existentially with how little the need to like make a little bit of money has gotten in the way of their ability to train as much as they want to.
Yeah, we've all experienced it. If you can't pay the gas in your car, the bus fare, to eat, to go training, you're not going to want to go training. And then also you're going to be trying to sort out getting that money so that you can go training. Like,
and if you work a physical job too, like,
then you're exhausted.
Garbage.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I remember turning around to Dom at one point, and it's just, he had just started going over to AOM and these kind of things while trying to do garbage. And I'm like, dude, you're not actually letting yourself recover. Yep. You have no time to recover.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then basically when he stopped garbage, that's when shit went like just a little bit, just a little bit higher, because he had time to recover and could just take more impact, basically.
Didn't have to run 12K per day. But I think also that, but also like, and anyone will know this, was like, if you get given the keys, you're going to drive the shit out of that car.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, someone was like, hey, you can do parkour every day. I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking do parkour every day. Like, every day. You know what I mean? Like, really gave me the permission to pursue what I wanted to do. And that in itself will also progress you, because your motivation goes up, your what is it? Love, your passion.
Wow.
I would say something on hearing both of your guys' things, it's really what you were saying, Holden, about like basically knowing that you're not going to fuck yourself up if things go bad. It's like learning how to bounce something. Suddenly you see, and Dom is the greatest for this, that he will just chuck something and just bounce it straight to his butt. But he knows that that's not going to be the end of the world.
Safety and failures is like also another huge ridiculous thing. I train break falls so much for fun. We'll do this thing in the gym where we like cover like the deck setup with like this much mat, you know, and put a bunch of ones down on the ground. And it's like, yeah, stand at the top and just like ragdoll your ass as hard as you can down this thing. And it's ridiculously fun. It's like super fun for one thing. You just like pop, 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 like just die as hard as you can. But it's so useful. It's insane.
I think it makes you so aware in parts. Like, you know, like for example, Marx was telling me a story the other day of how his teacher had a exact same fall to what I did, like coming down these stairs. Jarran, you remember this? We were riding down the Harbour Bridge, the iconic Harbour Bridge.
Oh, when you fell off the bike.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day.
So Jarran just is like ahead of me. He's way better on the bike than me. He's a like bike guy. He can ride, jump, all those things, you know, zip through traffic.
Yeah.
And so he goes to the end of the bridge, and then I just see him right off the edge of the bridge and like do the ramps. And
there's like
ramps
stairs, and then there's ramps.
And it's ramp, flat, ramp, flat, ramp, flat. And then he's down the bottom. And I'm like, cool, I'll do this. Ramp, flat with a little bit of air, ramp with a lot of air, flat, fly, flip off the bike and fall down the rest of the stairs. And I'm like, you know, I get up, ride home. I'm like, oh, that hurt, cut myself or whatever. I was kind of sore. But I was complaining, but I was okay. So Mark's told me a story of how his teacher tried to ride down the same stairs, fell off from the first ramp and was seriously hospitalized and had like reoccurring stuff for 2 years.
Oh my God.
Maybe not.
And it's like, the stuff you're doing now where you're tumbling in the gym and you're falling down and you're making sure that you hit the right points even out of a controlled state, that's something that if people were to learn, that's going to save lives, man. Like that's going to save disabilities. That's going to save like massive long-term injuries. It's like fundamentals of falling, moving. That's, you know, I think I just used to throw myself around a lot. Plus I had the ice skating. So that's where my kind of like fall awareness comes from. And also just falling over a lot.
Yeah, that'll do. We always find people are just like so scared of the ground when they start learning parkour. That's like the way we phrase it is they're scared of just getting close to the ground because they're not used to it. They lay in their bed, but they don't lay on the floor, you know, and like getting to the floor fast is kind of scary for a lot of people because it hurts, you know, like the ground is hard. Why would I go down there? It's uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it's just getting comfortable on the ground is what it's all about.
But yeah, one of the ones that I really want to, I guess, when I slow down what I'm doing with my whole traveling and, pardon me, chaos is, I want to teach classes to elderly people about how to get up and down off the floor.
Yes.
It's like, I don't, like, every old person that I know, like, you know, at a certain point, they just stop reaching to the ground to pick things up. Or they have these falls,
and they get the claw grabber, and then they grab things with the claw grabber.
The claw. They have these falls, and these falls take them out of action. Like they knock years off their life because they banged their head, banged their shoulder, had to have a hip replacement. And it's like if they'd known a little bit more about how to get up and down and what happens when you do lean forwards too far, lean back too far, like where to bend, then it could really make a big difference.
I absolutely agree with that. It's just, yeah, a lot of people, they just lose all of this natural mobility and movement that they should have their whole lives that they let go of.
And people always ask me, like, when are you going to stop? And it's like, push, push, excuse me, you think that I have to stop. That's a you thought. That's not a me thought. Like there's like society tells people like you get to a certain age, you slow down, you get fat, your metabolism slows down. I remember I had 25-year-olds when I was like 19 to 21, when I was like still not even like big or anything, but I was just really lean. And they were like, yeah, wait till you get to 23, your metabolism kicks in. Wait till you get to 25, your metabolism kicks in. I'm 28. I'm in better shape than I was there. It's like, that's just some rules that somebody else has written for you.
That's just people slowing down.
Yeah. And then saying that that's the world that does that, not you. Yeah.
Damn right.
Hey, by the way, I found a question. I found a question that doesn't look like a question, but it is. It's from someone called Mango saying, can you talk about your dirty hand injury as a garbage man?
Oh, yeah.
How do they even know? What?
Okay, so I mean, I used to publicize that I crush my fingers as a garbage man quite often. Basically, garbage clamp down on my fingers. So there's like a knuckle where you attach the bins, and then there's a pneumatic clamp that clamps on top of those. So I put my finger between the bin and the pneumatic clamp, and it basically just like took the two tips of these fingers and squashed them. Like I could see my fingers and then a flat spot where my fingers should be. And I was like, oh no. And so then I pressed the buzzer up and took them up further in the garbage clamp before pressing it down out of like freak reaction. And then actually the coolest part of this was I went to my driver and I was like, oh my God. Ah! And he's like, yeah. And he freezes because he's like, I don't want to have to stop working to take this guy to the hospital because then my day's fucked too because I got to spend 2 hours in with the hospital and the garbage doesn't get done, which as a garbage man, fair enough. But also, come on, bro, I just fucking took my fingers off. So like have a little empathy. He's just like, and this guy we were in the rich area and this guy just goes, oh my God, I just saw what happened. Wait here. He grabbed me like a towel, put it around my fingers, like put it around my hand because I still had the garbage glove on. And then he's in like he's a scrappy looking guy, like mid 50s, tank top, shorts. And he just goes, oh, one second, goes to the nearest garage, pulls out in like a Maserati. He's like, get in. And I was like, I can't get in your car because I'm spilling blood and in a garbage uniform. And he's like, no, get in, bro. It's fine. And he's like darting cars to get up to the hospital. It was pretty awesome,
so
actually.
Clutch.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is mad, but I can't enjoy it because my fingers are in so much pain.
Yep.
He actually got the urgency of it. He was like,
dude, I've been on that exact car ride before.
You're fucked and someone just driving you?
Yeah, just like drive. Like this lady like changed lanes into my homie and they actually like collided for a second. No. And he's just like, oh, and she just goes, you're good, like waves us on and we're just like, and he's just like, fucking go. And we get to the ER and her car was like messed up and his car was like tiny little dent and we were like, nice, like made it in time, like
lucky. That's good. Okay, so quick and then basically they just sewed them on and then I couldn't use my fingers for like 3 weeks and then it was better because Sydney Hand Hospital is pretty hectic. It's actually the one that I live down the road from now. But they're renowned for their hand surgery worldwide. So not only this one in the garbage, but when I fucked up my other hand in China, they fixed that too.
Wow.
Look, it works good. Oscar Mack asked when's next Project Parkour after this one's ends? Fuck, I can't remember.
So the date is to be determined. You know, it really depends on
but
just
you have
how...
a second.
We have a lot of plans for what we want to do on the second one. It is an absolute intention, you know, like we do plan to do another Project Parkour and we don't want to do it less than we did it this time. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna continue to like
to grow.
Raise the bar. And what that means is that unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, we're not going to do it again until we can raise the bar. You know, like we couldn't do it better tomorrow, but we could do it better 6 months from now, probably. Okay. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's a really good way to answer that. Is that it is coming and it's going to be in the future, but it's not immediate.
And it's up to everyone to help us out.
Okay. Yeah, you hear that, guys? It's up to you when the next Project Parkour will be. So just keep your ear to the ground and keep your votes happening. Another one here, which I think we can all kind of lean in on, is how do you find other people that do parkour and freerunning? Because none of my friends are interested in parkour and freerunning. Every friend that I started doing parkour and freerunning with no longer does parkour and freerunning. Just putting that to E5 right now. Like you're gonna keep going, and a lot of people are just gonna stop doing it. Even people who you think will never stop doing it will just stop doing it, and you're like,
it's so true.
Yep. Well, my thing is do it yourself, but that's because I am a goddamn hermit. So, like, when I go out and train, I don't even like training with people because I find it weird. I'm like, should we be interacting? Do we need to jump on the same jump? Because I'm going to just go over to this other challenge and just do that. You can be in the same, like, around me, I guess, but, like, how much interaction do you want?
I find that I like to be in the area of people jumping, but you will if you find your local community. I'm not sure where you're from, E5, but I guess my whole game changed when I was going to the local gym, and a couple of the guys from Sydney Parkour were coming to the gym, and Antec invited me to come to the classes and be a part of the community that was happening then. And then from there, that's led to pretty much every friendship that I've made today. Because, parkour in itself, you're going to find like-minded people, and there's going to be someone there who's as passionate about the sport as you are, even if it's for a short period of time, and you guys can bond and you'll create these long-lasting friendships. Like Jarran and I, we don't really ever train together anymore, but we're like these long-lasting friends who started becoming friends through the connection of parkour.
Yeah, dude, even when we're together, like say it will be out on a training day, I'm usually with Saturday, Dom's girlfriend, like on a computer next to her, like making music or something. I'll jump until I'm bored, or until I'm sore like an old fucking man. Then I'll go do music. But like, I don't even know what the question was.
Yeah, well, he's asking how you make friends through parkour, so we're just giving him or like, how do you find friends that are interested in parkour?
I think there's one other element to it that a lot of people neglect, that like your friends that don't want to do parkour and you've tried to get them to want to, they're just not interested, like, and it's fine. But people like get so stuck on it, they're like, how could someone not be interested in this? Like parkour is so great and so amazing, everyone wants to do it,
Yeah.
And why are my friends not taking up on this ripe opportunity to come learn this thing,
Because they might just not be that wired that way.
Right. And a lot of the people that I've met over the years in Minneapolis that are kind of like peripheral to parkour, but are just like good, like urban exploring homies first and foremost, just like people on the street that are like, whoa, you're doing parkour, that's cool, are you on Instagram, who are you, like this is pretty neat, and they like know like what it is that you're doing, and just like teaching them a little bit about what you're doing, whether it's a move or like why you're doing what you are doing. There's just a lot of friends to be made when you're like out training. So I would just suggest like go train, like go outside and go train and see if anyone is like, what's up?
Yeah, that actually raised another point that I didn't think of, is it doesn't have to be a parkour person. You can have people who just want to be out there in the sunshine, people who want to be out there filming you, people who are photographers who you like hanging out with. Like
love my photographer list.
Yeah, one of my closest friends for a long time, because everybody stopped kind of at a period of time, everyone stopped kind of training in Sydney, and I was the only one that was still like doing the everyday thing. I need, someone to shoot videos. So I ended up teaming up with Jesse Jacob, a good friend of mine, and he would come out and we just shoot and chill and just do our thing. But, he didn't train. He just made videos. He's a videographer full time. And that sort of just dynamic worked because we had the friendship there as well to kind of bounce off the ideas creatively. So yeah, I hope that helps. E5, I hope you can go out and find some friends.
Good luck, buddy. You got it.
Got this.
Just make sure you say something first.
Okay, I think that pretty much rounds out our questions.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, is there anything that either of you would like to final wrap up, tell people, promote, anything?
Jarran, you got anything?
No, I'm good. So please, like.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, Project Parkour, once again, like, things are switching up. I think the semifinal is going to be really nuts, and the final is going to be like, oh man, like, it's going to be tough. People that are really, really good are going to get their lines booted, which is like, it's the smell of competition. You love it.
Right. In those first rounds, you're kind of like, okay, cool. At least this line kind of definitely stood out more, or this person here was definitely hitting it harder than this.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
it's
then
all
you're like,
bangers. Yep. And so stay tuned. I think it's going to be a heater. And on Wednesday, Fight or Flight Academy Online, our Kickstarter goes live. It's going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be a tool that is any parkour person's best friend, essentially, is going to be our online platform. Whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, there's going to be something there for you to get some value out of, and you're going to get like fat deals on lifetime memberships if you are on our Kickstarter, which is pretty legit. You know, like, you might not want to pay month by month down the road, so if you want it now, like, there's going to be some sweet deals coming on Wednesday, and I'm just like, I'm so stoked to launch it.
I mean, I don't know.
Do we have a link? Do we have a link that we can put up for you?
I have a preview link that I can grab right now.
Send it to us, and we'll put it up on the thing. We'll put it up on the thing.
Do it.
And go on.
I don't know how much we can say, but am I able to say that I'm a part of the masterclass series? Is that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to have a place where I can incite my specific knowledge in a place where you guys can all go and access it worldwide. Like, that's, to me, one of the exciting opportunities about these masterclasses is all this knowledge that usually you can only impart in person at jams. We're going to have the chance to hear from all these athletes that, you know, like, I've had the opportunity to travel and meet a lot of these people, and it's like, wow, I know the wisdom that they've been able to impart through movement. So having that opportunity now on an online platform where, you know, maybe someone can't travel and they can't go out to do all these jams and events, they can actually have that kind of person-to-person information from those, you know, ridiculously good athletes.
Yeah. And not only that, but like, even just the athletes that are there to help you out, like our private Facebook group where people just like post videos and get feedback. And like, today's Monday. Every Monday I do Movement Monday, where it's just like, did you train in the last week? Did you get a cool clip? Post it, share it, like, show us your stuff, you know? And there's just so much interaction going on, and it's literally just people from the gym right now, like barely anyone else at all. We haven't even started populating it with online students, and it's already amazing. So I did pop that link in the chat for you. It's literally just a project description and a picture and a title right now, but all the same,
I think that's good. That gives people who want to know more about it at least a little bit more information and a place they can go to kind of be ready if they want to be on the frontier of that.
Absolutely.
For me, I'd like to say, again, like I said last week, anybody out there who is reopening gyms, reopening centers, holding jams or events, please try to let us know at info@2jameasy.com as we're trying to relaunch the platform and get the information out there for all of you so that, you know, you can be attending these events or finding out what's happening and reopening as it all unfolds, because we want to make sure that the global community does stay connected during this absolute time of need.
That, then we have to then answer a question which says, I'm 21. Should I get a gym started? I'd probably say no.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Bad time right now.
Yeah, right now is a terrible time. And also, unless your parkour and free running is to the level where you can go out and do your demos and stuff to get people into your thing, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, you want to have at least your foundations and the ability to impart the wisdom of those foundations onto others down. Don't just start a parkour business because it sounds cool.
Yeah, or you're a little bit better than everyone else.
Yeah, please be knowledgeable in parkour and the community.
And if it's not you, like someone, you know, like you need to have your Zen instructor, like master, like somebody that really knows their shit and can really like be the face of it for people. Somebody that has a little bit of a following, even very small, like very locally, somebody that has credibility, like major. You're not going to do well as a parkour gym if it's not there.
Yeah. So main aspect, involve the community. All right, guys. Well, I think that brings us all to a wrap. Thank you, everyone that's tuned in today. Thank you, obviously, Holden, for coming on. And
thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Everything that they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And Jazza, any final notes?
No. We're out. We are going to be out in a few seconds. Oh, my God.